Hey there. Have you ever looked at a really smart app on your phone and just wondered how it all works? How does a simple idea turn into a powerful AI application? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole process. We're going to demystify it from start to finish. Yeah, it can totally feel like magic, right? One minute you've got a cool concept, and the next there's a real app on your screen that can translate languages or recognize faces in photos. But here's the secret. It's not magic at all. It's actually a really well thought out engineering process. And in this explainer, we're going to walk through it together. Okay, to make this all a bit less abstract and a lot more real, let's follow a story. Let's imagine a farmer who's having trouble with diseases affecting their plants. What if we could build an app to help them? We're going to follow the journey of building this crop disease detector, and it's the perfect way to see exactly how these AI systems come to life.
All right, so where do you even begin with something like this? Well, you start with a solid plan. You can't just start writing code and hope for the best. Building an AI app is kind of like baking a cake. You need a recipe, a blueprint that makes sure all the pieces come together in the right order.
First up, let's get a key definition out of the way. When we talk about an AI-enabled system, we're not just talking about some clever piece of code. It's the whole shebang. The software you interact with, the hardware it runs on, and of course, the data-driven algorithm that acts as the brains. It's the entire package, working in harmony.
So what does this blueprint actually look like? Well, it breaks down into these 5 core stages. And trust me, the order here is absolutely crucial. You can't train a model if you don't have data, right? And you can't collect the right data if you don't know what problem you're trying to solve. It all flows logically from one step to the next. This is our roadmap for the whole project.
Okay, so we've got our roadmap. Now let's pop the hood and look at the actual parts of the app itself. You see, every AI application has a kind of anatomy, a set of essential components that all need to communicate and work together. Understanding these parts is key to seeing the bigger picture. This table lays it all out, but let's think of it in simpler terms. The user interface, or UI, that's the part you actually see and touch on your screen. The application logic, think of it as the nervous system, connecting everything behind the scenes. The AI model is the brain, doing all the heavy lifting and thinking. And the database? Well, that's the system's memory, storing all the important info. So let's bring this back to our farmer's app. The UI is just the simple camera interface on their phone. The application logic is the code that zips that photo over for analysis. The AI model is the brain that looks at the photo and says, aha, that's blight. And the database saves that result, maybe with a GPS tag so the farmer can track where problems are popping up. See? Each part has a really clear job to do. Okay, this is where it gets really cool. We've got the plan, we know the parts, now it's time to actually wire everything up and bring our AI model out of the lab and into the real world. This is where it all comes to life. And you might think this part involves some crazy, super complex code. But honestly, the real goal here isn't complexity. It's about building a simple, reliable bridge so that the app can ask the AI a question and get an intelligent answer back. It's all about accessibility. And this is pretty much how it's done. This little chunk of code here creates something called an API. Now, don't let the name scare you. Think of an API as, well, like a special doorway, or a digital receptionist for our AI model. It loads the model, sets up a web address for the app to call, and just waits. When a photo comes in, it passes it to the model, gets the prediction, and sends the answer right back. Just like that, our AI's brain is online.
So our AI can think, it can make decisions, but that brings up a really important question. Where is it actually going to live? Where does this model get hosted so that people can use it? And believe me, this decision makes a huge difference. Basically, we have 2 main options. We can stick it in the cloud, running on massive servers in a data center somewhere. This is awesome because it's super powerful and easy to update, but it always needs an internet connection. Or we can go with what's called Edge AI, where the model lives right on the person's device, like their phone. This is incredibly fast and, best of all, it works offline.
So let's go back to our farmer. They're out in the middle of a field, right? Maybe there's spotty cell service or none at all. A cloud-based app would be totally useless. But by choosing Edge AI, we put that brain, that model, right onto their phone. The app works instantly, anywhere, anytime. The problem itself points you to the best solution. All right, let's zoom out for a second. We've gone all the way from a simple idea to a working app that could make a real difference. So what are the big lessons we've learned on this journey? Here are the big things to remember. First, an AI app is way more than just the algorithm. It's an entire integrated system. Second, that architecture we talked about, it's everything.
It's the foundation for a usable, scalable app. Third, APIs and how you deploy your model. Cloud versus edge. That's what actually brings AI out of the lab and into the real world. And finally, and this is maybe the most important part, you have to build something. Prototyping is how you turn a great idea into real-world impact.
So there you have it. We've walked through the whole blueprint, from defining a problem to deploying a solution that works. The process is clearer than you might think, and the tools have never been more accessible. So really, the only question left to ask is, what problem are you going to solve?